Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. So y'all, I gotta tell you, I thought I had this week's video ready to go. I recorded it a few days ago, thought I was gonna get ahead of it, and then I saw something on the internet that pissed me off, and so we're gonna talk about that instead. So why wouldn't we? So here's the thing, and I want to be really clear. This, no shade to the original poster or to any of the commenters. It's not what this is about, okay? I understand that hiring managers and companies have rules that may not make sense to us or we may not agree with, but there are just certain things that just drive me batshit and that I personally am not going to tolerate in my partnerships and in the people that I work with and for. I'm just being honest, okay? So one of those things was a situation that unfolded, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. I don't remember the exact details. And again, I cannot say this enough. No shade intended, y'all. I'm sure the person that posted this and the people involved are lovely people, but this is a bullshit rule, okay? So basically the idea is that leaving off a particular part of your employment, or maybe a short-term consulting gig or a contract role or something, not including that on your resume equals lying. Y'all, I needed to sit with this for a bit because I could not wrap my head around it. Okay? I still can't. Like, even now, I'm like, nope. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say, first of all, that's not fair and accurate. And secondly, I think we need to have a conversation about the difference between a resume and an application. Get a lot of pushback about, the ATS and online applications and why am I repeating all this information again? You have it on my resume. I get it. But I think this story illustrates this very well, that the resume and the application are two different things that solve two different purposes. Okay? I actually said this recently to a team. We were discussing an upcoming interview, and there was a question about, oh, well, this is on the person's resume, and did they really? And I don't know. I used to work at that place too. Time out, y'all, because let me tell you something. A resume is a marketing document. Okay? Yes, you absolutely can ask the person questions about what's on their resume, and you can get clarity, and you can say, this part, I wasn't quite sure. Can you tell me more? And you can do all those things. That is the purpose of the interview, is to gather data, uncover superpowers and skills and strengths, and see how those line up to the problem we're trying to solve through the open position. I get it. I'm cool with that. What you are not going to do on my watch is look at a resume and say, I think that person's lying. They didn't include this thing. They left off a short-term gig they had in 1992. Unless you are recruiting or applying to the government. The federal government has a ludicrous application process. Okay, state governments too. I work for the state of Washington. Nightmare, that process. So I do understand that there may be companies or entities that have those rules. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a job seeker looking into those, make sure you understand what are the expectations of the information that you're putting in front of the potential hiring team. But for 90% of the jobs out there, or at least most with regular companies, a resume is a marketing document. Okay? The application is what you are signing and saying that these things are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. If you lie on an application, and I'll give you two examples, okay? 2 examples from back in my agency days. 2 offers that I had to rescind because candidates lied. One candidate lied about his degree. He claimed that he had a bachelor's degree. He did not. Here's the best part, okay? The degree was on his resume. Nobody cares. The degree was not required for this job, so it really didn't matter. Nobody asked him about it. Nobody cared about it. It wasn't a big deal. On his application, his legally binding document, he indicated he had a degree. When the background check was done and they verified education and they found out, oh, actually, this person does not have a degree. Oh dear. We pulled the offer. Okay? He falsified the application. That's different. Now, should he have said on his resume that he had a degree? No, because he didn't need one, so it really wouldn't have mattered. But the difference there is nobody cared when it was the resume because we understood the resume is a marketing document. It's not a big deal. We're not going to go that deep. The application is important, and making sure you're not falsifying your information is critical. The second offer that I had to rescind, the person just flat failed the background check. He again, on the application form, have you ever been convicted of, a felony or misdemeanor or whatever? And he put no. Background check comes back. You can guess the rest. But here's the thing. This would not have been a deal breaker in this exact instance. This is a role, this was a company that, it was construction, okay? And it would have been fine. This was a laborer kind of person, and it just, the fact that he falsified the application is what cost him the job. I had to rescind the offer. He was very unhappy with me. Okay, but I need y'all to understand, and by God, I need you recruiters to have a come to Jesus with your clients about this. A resume is a marketing document. Yes, we should be telling the truth. Yes, we should be providing accurate, complete information. But how many times are we telling job seekers, focus on the content that shows you're a fit for the job? Focus on the details and the data points and the achievements and the accomplishments that say you can solve this company's problem. Listing every single time you've set foot in a building to do a thing, even if it was only 2 weeks long, may not be the best use of the space on your resume. And I get that. Okay? So can we please stop conflating this idea that every last snippet of everything you've ever done has to be on a resume or you're lying. That made me so angry. So I just want job seekers to keep that in mind. If you are concerned about this, if you have questions about this, before you get too far down the road with your recruiter, hey, just so you know, the resume you saw, that's accurate. That's true information. I stand by what I said. I had some other things that are not listed there. Does that matter? Do you need that information? Do you need those insights? I can't imagine a recruiter saying yes unless, again, they're dealing with the government or they're dealing with some other, wonky, like maybe a clearance situation or something. But the average employer and the average job seeker and the average recruiter can probably just focus in on the information that's relevant to the position, the marketing document, and then of course treat your application like any other legally binding document. Make sure you're including everything there that they might be asking for. All right. So I hope that helps y'all. I think this was just one of those weeks where I was just annoyed and needed to get something off my chest. But hopefully you got some goodness out of it. So again, one more time, louder for the thought leaders in the back. Your resume is a marketing document intended to get you an interview. An application is the legally binding information that you are verifying as true and correct to the best of your ability for the purposes of future employment. Okay? Very different from each other. Now go out there and get your dream job. We will see you next week.